favorite part of the week. Mondays. The evil empire's back. Two old fox. Play! The Great Ink and Ivy, downtown Greenville. Back again. Welcome to another episode of the Two Old Fox. I'm just a little colored fella from Northeast New Jersey, Rico Jambone Esquire, lawyer extraordinaire. Joined as always my cohorts in crime, my partners, Low Country's own Greg Cassidy, and the gentleman from Durand, Michigan, Kurt Marks. We're broadcasting as usual from Ink and Ivy, downtown Greenville. Happy hour every Monday through Friday, 4 to 7. Gracious hosts. Gentlemen, tell us about the week that was.
Go ahead.
What pissed me off this week was Acuna getting hurt for the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I've been a Braves fan since I was 5 years old, and I'm old now. And it seems like just as soon as we get close, something happens.
Yep.
We just snake bit.
Yep.
To Rico's point is 2 years ago we won without Strider and Acuna, who got hurt, and maybe we can do that again. But I thought this season was set up for a nice season, but the Dodgers and the Phillies are going to be tough.
Yeah, and with those lineups, it was going to be hard to beat them. We needed Strider, we needed Acuna, who, by the way, wasn't playing very well at the time of this injury. Neither is Olsen. Riley's not playing well. How's Detroit doing in this pennant race?
Well, what pissed me off, to keep it in the sports mode, Detroit won 3 in a row, and we're still one game under 500. So, but we got Pittsburgh coming in, so I think we're going to Pittsburgh. But
Braves lost 2 out of 3 at Pittsburgh.
They're getting their ass kicked right now.
What pissed me off? So as usual, I spend my weekends at the lake during the warm weather seasons, traveling on 123 on Friday, and I knew it would be busy, going in that direction. I guess that's 123 south, or is
North.
Going out towards the lake? Is North, you sure?
No, you're right, south.
Yeah, 123 south, going out towards the lake. And I get stuck in traffic, and it's literally standstill. It's about 12:30 on Friday. And I'm thinking to myself, it's got to be an accident, someone's pulled over. People were just rubbernecking a guy on the side of the road, flipping a little sign for one of those stupid tax stores with his fucking chicken outfit on.
Like tax season's over.
I don't remember what he was wearing, a stupid outfit, like the chicken from Los Pollos Hermanos in Breaking Bad. But anyway, that was my good show.
Good point.
Solid show. But yeah, I mean, it drove me nuts. What are you guys looking at? And why you... Anyway, traffic was backed up long enough where it absolutely drove me crazy. Now, some more serious stuff. We had a shooting downtown Greenville this past weekend.
Yeah, right on the falls.
Yeah.
Outside the falls on Fall Street.
I wasn't around for it. Did you guys get any information on it at the time?
It was at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they arrested the guy, I think, this morning or yesterday.
Yeah.
I think yesterday when I first saw.
I think it was coming from a nightclub, bouncer, whatever. We don't need that in this city.
Nope, especially downtown.
I'll guarantee you Mr. Hall made a call to the mayor the next day and said,
I sure as hell would have
cleaned this up.
Yeah, clean this up.
That's right in his backyard.
Speaking of, you used to be a Halls regular. What happened?
I still have 500 points to spend.
You venture down to that side of town.
By the way, 500 points is 1 point for every dollar, so... No, 1 point for every... 1/10 of a point for every dollar.
Like $1 for every 10.
So yeah, that adds up to $5,000.
That's kind of like
in the old days.
Your airline miles with all that traveling you do for your job.
I got a lot of those too.
1 million points, head up to Grand Rapids on a free weekend.
Got a lot more hotel points than I do airline points.
He goes down to Halls and buys Clemson bottles of wine.
Yeah, I did that a couple times. I bought one in Charleston.
$400 or $500. Didn't go to Clemson. Doesn't even like Clemson. Just did it. Hadn't even opened them up.
I figured you were going to get Dabble to sign them for me.
It's fair.
And if you had them, that'd be pretty badass.
I could probably make that happen.
I have a little bit of disappointment on the Clemson front. I have a nephew who I got a impromptu visit with Clemson in the hopes that he would consider signing with them, but it looks like he's got some other schools on his mind, which again brings us back to how much does NIL factor into it. And again, he's a kid. They're throwing money at you. You're a 5-star recruit. I can't blame him one bit. But obviously, Dabo doesn't run a program. By the way, Michigan was on his list.
Well, bring him on.
He ain't going there.
We got money to pay
He
him.
wants to go to somewhere a lot more fun and less cold, I think,
Ann Arbor can be a lot of fun
but very cold.
in the winter.
Yeah.
Well, summer came in June and left in July.
No, it came on a Wednesday morning and left by 5 o'clock at night.
By the way, we have our same bartenders as last week, the lovely Noel and Swifty. You know what we'll do? Second segment, we'll get one of them to come stand here and be visible for the camera. All right.
I got a question here for you guys on the college sports. So, NCAA came out this week and agreed they're going to pay $2.6 billion for players from 2016 to current. So, how do you divide it up among players?
It's a good question. I mean,
Is it
No
softball
idea.
players?
but then again, shouldn't you get paid too? Weren't you in?
In 2016.
No, I'm saying, though, why are they not going all the way back to the
Wait a
beginning
minute.
of the time?
When was it? The lawsuit was like in 08, wasn't it? Or something like
No,
that.
it was in 16.
16, so they got to go back to 16 and
16.
10? Okay.
Okay, so they settled it. Was that the Northwestern guys that filed that? Is that the one you're thinking
I'm
of?
not sure, but
We could look that up.
The NCAA agreed to pay $2.8 billion this week to college athletes since 2016 for their likeness. How do you determine who gets that money?
Yeah,
If you were a college athlete today, why would you even go to class?
So I can tell you as an attorney, when you have a class action suit like that, they send out cards to anyone who is on a team or involved with the sport at that time, and they tell you, here's the settlement, you have a certain number of days to send this back, and we'll add you in. Obviously, the more people you get, the more it dilutes the amount that...
So obviously it's going to be mostly college football. Because you're not going
I think basketball players filed the suit, so I would imagine they're included. You know who loses in this? Women's sports
100%.
across
Oh,
the
yeah. It's
board.
going to screw up Title IX bad.
Yeah, it screws that up across the board. But again, I mean, how many people go watch college women's soccer? And that's listen, that's been the crux of the argument this whole time now is with the WNBA particularly comes to mind. Take Caitlin Clark out of the picture. Are those arenas looking like they are now?
No.
You know, I mean, I think there were 18,000 fans in attendance in LA over the weekend because of her.
Yep.
So there is that effect, and she's getting endorsements up the wazoo. Good for her.
She's quite possibly going to be the most famous female athlete ever, just because of television coverage and the money she's going to make.
But the thing is, though, guys, I mean, what's the point? If you're a college football player, what's the point of going to class? If you're going to make $5-10 million a year, if you're an elite athlete, quarterback, wide receiver, whatever, why are you going to go to class?
Well, if you don't go to class, you get kicked out of school.
No, you don't.
Imagine
Not anymore.
You do not.
Nope.
When you, assuming that if you fall below a certain threshold GPA-wise,
Fair. It probably depends on the
that
school.
would probably compromise. I don't think Dabo's going to let a. I mean, DJ probably went to class. He's the only NIL guy I know from Clemson.
Bottom line, wait 6 months, it's all going to change.
This is why you should run for office. We've been talking about this.
There was a day.
Get old Congressman Kurt up there.
Not anymore.
Well,
Too old to be corrupt.
You wouldn't be corrupt.
yeah, he's on the moral high ground. I'll give Kurt that credit. He's a
agree.
moral guy. He's got a moral compass to him.
Let's have a shout out today, Memorial Day, to all those that served our country, all the first responders, police, fire department, people who served for our country. We appreciate your service, and thank you.
Absolutely. I agree. I'd like to add something. I was floating on, I'm ashamed to know this, but I was floating around on Facebook a couple hours ago, and I noticed this young man, there was a shout out for Memorial Day, and it happened to be my cousin's son, and I had no idea. He crashed in the San Diego helicopter crash back in February, and he lost his life. And wow, I'm sorry I didn't know that, but God bless his soul.
Yeah, prayers up to him. Well, that's our first 9-minute segment. We got a little surprise for Greg on the way out. Segment 2 coming right up, but we'll get a little Clemson fight song on the way out. Stick with us. We'll be back to segment 2, 2 old Fox.
Go Tigers.
Welcome back, segment 2, 2 old farts. Kurt's got something in the crock pot for later, so he's got to get the hell out of here. What do you got?
Chicken and broccoli and a Greek mix with it.
Greek mix. Put some feta cheese in there?
No, the Greek dressing type thing.
Oh, yeah, I got you. You know, this Greek Town Grill here, their Greek dressing is probably the best I've ever had. Yeah, it's really good stuff. While we were on the break, Tom Otterman, who's a good buddy of ours, came over and got some still shots of us doing the podcast, so we'll have to get those uploaded on the websites. TikTok, 2_old_farts, YouTube, 2oldfarts_SC, and I'll have to get the TikTok name pulled up here. All right, Ink and Ivy, Monday afternoon, as usual. How was your Memorial Day weekend? What'd you guys do?
You're looking at it.
This in yard work.
You sat at the bar drinking ginger ales.
I watched every racing thing there was on TV yesterday. So we started out with Monaco, and we went to Indy, and we ended up with Indy late at night. So in between, we had NASCAR. So
I met John Ross and Kurt's. What would you call it?
I had my surrogate daughters down from Michigan, Megan and Jill, and
That's right.
They come down every year, maybe twice a year, once in a while. And in fact, I just took them to the airport, and they just told me they landed, so they're home in Detroit.
Back in old
had a great
Detroit.
weekend with them.
Back in old Detroit. So
Me and Annika met him down here for lunch with John Ross at noon, and we've been here for 6 hours. Good time, man. They're good girls. They're Kurt's best friends' daughters, who just incredible people, and
Great kids.
we lost Don.
good looking too. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
Woo! Really?
we lost Don. Was it 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago,
Yeah.
It's been 2 years now. I feel like last
it was-
Memorial Day.
Yeah, because they came down last year.
So a year ago,
A little about a year and a half ago.
yeah, pretty tragic stuff, but it happens. You know, we're all.
Yeah. Well, we showed them a good time. Kurt showed them a good time. My wife.
They didn't have to. They showed themselves a good time because they love Greenville. They come down to see Greenville. They don't come down to see any of us.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
come down to see the city.
I also come down to see Annika. Annika likes to rock and roll.
I hugged them on Thursday, and that was the last time I saw them.
Yeah.
But I was at the lake all weekend, so
Yeah, they had a good time.
good. Speaking of, I was putting my boat back in the. It slipped yesterday, and where my little cove is at the marina, or my little area of that where the slips are, as I'm slowly coming in, and you can literally idle into your. It's easier to control the boat.
Yep.
Some massive tri-tune comes flying by at 30 miles an hour and creates a wake that's literally shoving me into this dock.
Throw you into the dock.
So I had to throw the thing in reverse, and then these people are looking at me with their drinks on another boat, just laughing their asses off as me and my friend are trying to keep this boat from smashing into the dock.
I tell you, it's not as easy as you think it is.
No, it's not.
I mean, you got 6 inches on either side.
And my boat is what's called a V drive.
Yep.
So when you turn, there's a delayed reaction to it, and it's not at a 90-degree angle.
No.
It's more of a rounded kind of turning.
Right.
Scary stuff, but we got through it. That was my highlight of the boating weekend. Went up to the Party Cove, which we got to get Kurt up there one day.
Too far from home. If I can't walk there, I'm not going.
You're gonna be on a boat, crying out loud.
Got to get me up there. It's an hour up there.
Kurt, you can't sit in your apartment farting around with your Fox News and your tidy whities and your chicken soups all day. You got to get out.
And a shout out to probably the best lake in the southeast, Lake Kiwi, where Rico frequents very often. Beautiful part of the country, but don't move here if you're going to vote against us. Only move here if you vote with us.
Hey, listen, that's Trump country out there.
100%.
I mean, everyone, last week we talked about the signs on the side of the road. Every one of the signs, they're conservative, gun rights, which I don't know why that's a topic for discussion in this coming election.
There's a reason everybody moves here, Rico. Not everybody. There's a reason a lot of people move here. I know it's the weather, climate, job scene, but the southeast is the hottest part of the country to move to. I just ask you, if you move here, don't vote like where you left. That's why you left.
It was listed last week in one of the tabloids, the number 4 place to live in the country.
I did see that. What was that? USA Today or whatever?
Something like that. Newsweek, something like that.
I can promise you I did not move down here to protect my gun rights. I own 2 firearms, but I moved here, like you said, the weather, 3/4 of the year, we're basically 70 or better.
Yeah. Today is 82, no humidity, sunshine. Memorial Day, what a beautiful morning.
The weather is unpredictable here.
Very unpredictable.
Which brings me to an old story. We've talked about this. Last summer out on Lake Kiowee, I was down at the marina on the boat, and a bunch of us were tied up. If you know boating out there, you can tie up, you throw an anchor out so that you sit still. All of a sudden, dark clouds started to roll in. If you're ever on that lake, that is a clear signal. Get your ass off the water, right? I decided, we were 10 minutes up the lake, back where the cabana was, and so I decided I can beat this thing because the radar said you got about 15, 20 minutes. There's 4 of us on the boat, my buddy Kyler, guy Luke, and our friend Emily. And when we pulled out from where the marina is, the storm was behind us. We got up where the cabana is. I was about 100 yards from where the actual turn in to get to the cabana is. The storm was right in front of us. So it met us head on. And that body of water, folks, it's a lake, right? 99% of the time that water is still. But the waves were 4 feet high,
100%.
generated by this storm. So we had to seek refuge. We found a dock, random dock in some guy's house. So we jump out and we're holding the boat from smashing into the dock, and this little old 75-year-old guy comes down and he's like, "You can't park there." What the fuck you want us to do, old fart?
Did he live there?
He lived there. It was his house. I mean, $1 million home, $1.5 million home. But he was more concerned about his dock than he was the boat in our lives. And at that point, even I was like, fuck the boat.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to prevent us from getting killed. But that's what you experience out there on that lake. But other than that, I mean, it's beautiful country.
The thing about that lake up there, Rico, all those clouds go around the mountains and you can't see anything.
Yep.
It's 2,000 feet above sea level, and you're going around. You think, to your point, that you beat the storm, and all of a sudden it comes head first and just kicks your ass.
It's a mistake.
You can't see it. It's not a mistake. You can't see it.
Yeah, it probably doesn't get like that where you're from because it's so wide open, that water.
On the Great Lakes, you get 8-10 foot swells out there.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, especially on Lake Michigan.
But it's flat. You can see it, right?
Yeah, you can see the storms coming.
Yeah, it's flat. Yeah.
I did not have that luxury, and Greg, it got so pitch black.
I've been there.
I mean, I couldn't see in front of me, and the rain's coming down sideways. It's pelting us in the face, and it's pretty scary.
Lake Kiowee is probably the second most scared I've ever been in my boat. First most scared was me and a couple buddies, and my son went down to Charleston shrimping in a boat.
What are you, fucking Bubba Gump?
Bubba Gump. And my son went to college in Charleston, and he loved shrimping, and so I brought our boat down there, and we got lost.
Ooh.
And we didn't get on the big water. It's just all in the inlets, and we couldn't see anything. I mean, it's completely black, and you're talking about 2 feet of water. I had a 200 horsepower Johnson motor in the back, so I had to raise the trolling motor so it was just barely underwater, and we tried to navigate away. I actually called the Coast Guard. We're lost. Come find us, and they did. So when we pull up to the dock at probably midnight, they closed at 9 o'clock. There was probably 20 police cars and ambulances waiting because they were out searching for us. Because I made a 911 call to the Coast Guard. I said, "Hey, we're lost. We don't know where we are." Somehow I navigated and saw some lights and found our way back. And that was the scariest I've ever been. Because it's oyster beds. You can't get out and walk.
Tear your feet up. Yeah. That was pretty scary for me on the lake that day.
Yeah, Lake Kiowee was very scary.
Very worried about. In my boat, it sits off the water pretty high, but it's doing like this. And the waves are coming up so high that you think they're gonna, roll over onto the boat. But hey, listen, we could be. I was very lucky. Let's just put it that way. Very, very lucky.
Well, we live in my opinion, the best part of the country, and we're just so lucky.
Yeah.
that we live here.
Thank God for that. Now, Kurt's got his favorite ginger ale brand out here, and as you would have it, it's a Detroit brand.
Originated in downtown Detroit?
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking. But is there anything about your life that has nothing to do with Detroit?
No. It's all about the mitten, baby.
Yeah, no, listen, you are a loyal native. I'll give it to you.
Yep.
But I probably mention New Jersey 100 times a week myself. So.
Yep, exactly.
Well,
we all know where we're from.
That's right, and we're proud of it. That said, we're 10 minutes into segment 2. We like to keep these short so you guys don't get bored. But that wraps up episode 7. We'll see you next week. 2 Old Farts. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one. Thank you for your service.
By the way, I got a second surprise for you as an outro. This one's for Kurt here.
No boy. Now we're talking.